Hi, welcome to Ikate's Crossing. Oh, I'm so excited. Now, for those that might know the Tarot of the Divine, of course, this is the Oracle of the Divine, which I'm really excited about diving into. It arrived today, very quick. It was a pre-order, and so finally got it here, which is really exciting, down in New Zealand, of course, for those that don't know. So here we go. It's in a beautiful flip box, of course, which is absolutely, I mean, the stuff is beautiful. Beautiful guidebook. Lots of great info in the book. It really is something that you need to dive into with each card. With the suits of each card, there are actually 5 suits. There's 60 cards. 5 suits, 12 cards per suit. There is a lot of into it, which we can dive into at which I want to dive into at some stage. It is a deck that is really that I'm going to study, like I did the Tarot of the Divine, the same sort of thing. Really sort of dive into it, have a look at the stories, the teachings, the legends, the imagery, and really see what messages come from the cards. I think this is something that you're really going to dive into. Of course, with the book, there is of course the introduction. There is the content of the book. There is about the suits there. There is a sample reading, of course. There's some readings there. There's some spreads, and then of course the cards. Now the cards do have quite a bit of info. You've got the story, the origin, the suit, and then the meaning, upright and reversed if you wish. So when you're using the book, but you can do a very quick reading if you just want to use the keywords that are on the card. If you just wanted to do that, you could, if you were doing sort of more cards in your spread, you could just do something by using the keywords there, if that's the way you want to do it. Or you could, if you were just doing a card a day, like especially when you're studying or you're learning the deck, you want to go through and actually read what's in the card, what's in the book, and see what resonates for you. Because remember, not every keyword, because they do add extra keywords to the card, not every keyword is going to resonate in that moment. There might be just 1 or 2 keywords that make sense in that moment. Could be the keyword here, and maybe there's more to it. It's not going to always be the same depending on your context of your question, the layout that you use. It's going to be in surrounding cards. They're all going to make a difference to the actual meaning within the reading. Of course, the guidebook is absolutely excellent, and definitely recommend you reading it, especially while you're learning the deck. I think never throw away your guidebooks. I always say put them aside for a moment when you're looking at the cards, looking at the imagery, having a look at the cards, writing down your own maybe initial thoughts, and then going to the guidebook and seeing if there's anything more that the guidebook gives you, especially when you're learning the deck. Very important. Okay, so it does come in a beautiful box, which is beautifully done. It does come with a ribbon, of course, and then, oops, the little plastic. Let me try and remove that plastic. I don't really want to wreck the cards anyway. Okay, so we've removed the plastic, which I don't need, of course, anymore. Let's have a look. Okay, these are the backs of the cards, which are absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous. Okay, so let's have a look at the imagery of the cards now. Let's put these to one side for a moment, and let's turn this over. It's the same beautiful artwork that is done by Yoshi. Of course, it's Yoshitani. Yoshi's artwork is gorgeous. I think it's just absolutely stunning. So let's have a look at the imagery. Now, in the guidebook, they are alphabetical with the deity. Okay. but you'll find that like Amarasitu is like recovery, creation, worth. So the keywords, so when you're looking for, and in the guidebook you're looking by the deity in alphabetical order. That's why it's going to take a little bit of time to actually study the deck, work out who the deities are, what stories they lend themselves to. I think is really important, what origin they come from. So it may take a little bit to sort of dive into this deck, indeed. So they're in order of the deity. The story. I love this artwork. I just think the story, you know, they really do tell a lot. So I'm looking forward to working with the Tarot of the Divine with this Oracle of the Divine. I think they'll work really, really well together. Again, when I'm working with a deck, I like to, if I can, maybe decks by the same artist or the same creator, or decks that carry the same theme, like I did with Supernatural Tarot and Supernatural Oracle. Of course, there's Santa Muerte Tarot, Santa Muerte Oracle, of course by the same creator. And then you've got the Santa Muerte Lenormand as well. So I like to work in themes, or in work with artists or creators that are the same deck, same artwork. Gives you that sort of continuity within the deck. So yeah, absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely. Oh, the apocalypse. That's really cool. Ooh, what's going on there? Feels like everything's in danger. Feels like a dangerous energy. Right, so let's shuffle the cards up and see what card are we going to think about or reflect on. Let's have a nice good shuffle. Now, for those that don't know, I like to shuffle my decks this way. I always shuffle. I don't know why. I just like to shuffle them this way. So let's take a nice deep breath and let's think about what do we need to know right now. Oh, okay, this one here popped out. Got Trickster. So who's trying to fool us in some way? Who's not really showing us what we need to see? They're showing us something that we try to feel like they're being a bit slighty. Okay, so let's have a look. Who would be the trick under the Trickster? So let me have a look here. The Trickster is Coyote. Coyote. Okay, Coyote. Okay, right. Okay, so 35. 35. Whoops, it's page 35. Let's have a look. Okay, so the story is Industrious Daughter. The origin is American Southwest Cochiti legend. The suit is actually called Desire. Okay, so what's that suit mean? So let's have a look and see what it says about the suit. Desire. Okay, Desire cards are emotion cards. This suit is the most varied, as desires are also extremely diverse. These are wishes, hopes, and dreams that pull the hero forward. Okay, so desire. Okay, meaning. Given the industrious daughter's renowned clothing making skills, amassed wealth, and never-ending line of suitors, even Coyote came to hear of her accomplishments. Coyote set out to charm her by gathering the sweetest black currant berries and then dancing with them in the village square. The industrious daughter was smitten. Despite everyone warning her against him, she moved to his home and bore his children. Okay, disrupt the establishment, it's called. disrupt the establishment. Upright meanings are change, freedom, and subversion, with reversed meanings being obedience, literalism, and severity. Okay, upright. This card represents upheaval, breaking norms, unexpected events, and rebellion. It symbolizes following your heart and laughing at the world and your own mistakes equally. Or reversed, or ill-dignified, whatever you like to call it, this card represents understanding the social contract and realizing that some rules are justified. It symbolizes taking yourself too seriously, lacking humor, or being a snitch. So what resonates with you when you think of the tricks, when you've listened to the story, or you've listened to what I've said here, with the maybe some changes going on in your life? Maybe you want the freedom to do what you want to do, and so just be wary. I think it's important to be wary. To me, it just tells me to be very careful. Be very wary of someone who could lure you away from your path or your journey. Let's have a look and see if we can get a little bit more information about the trickster. Tell us a little bit more about this trickster. Oops, there we go. Okay, we have celebration. Okay, we've got celebration. So something with this trickster, with celebration. And cynicism. Okay, being skeptic. Okay, I think there's being wary of celebrating something too soon. Being wary of celebrating something too soon. Someone's greed. Maybe the trickster has some greed. Maybe it, not necessarily you. Maybe it's someone else that you need to, who could be a trickster in your life. And just be careful that you're being not too soon to celebrate. Could be a causing of greed in some way. Ooh, interesting when you're looking at the cards just like that. I think there's more to it, but that'll come with more practice as I start working with the cards a bit more, as I start diving into them. I'm just doing something very quick at the moment. We're just sort of getting a bit of a quick fix here. Reckoning. Okay, with this I get the sense of there'll be a reckoning on some part. Okay, be careful. I'm getting a lot of weary cards here. I get there's a bit of a challenge. I think you need to be very careful about. I think this is a warning. I think this is a reminder to us to be very wary of who we trust. I think it's very much about integrity. Very important to have some integrity in our life, to make sure the person that we're dealing with has integrity. I think we need to be very careful, because I feel like there's someone who isn't completely honest here. Worrying about being selfish. Why are we getting a lot of these sort of... Okay, maybe we need to be careful about doing something for duty. Maybe it's about being in duty. That could be where we are in this situation. Okay, one more card, I think. I feel like there's one more card coming up. The apocalypse. Okay. Definitely feel like things could be a bit of a whirlwind here. I think this is a real sort of warning for us just to be very, very careful about who we let into our circle. It could cause a bit of chaos in our life, cause a bit of stress. I think it's very important that we act with integrity in all we do. But just be very careful about who we let into our life. I think it's very sort of a bit of a cautious tale. Like, this is not going to be everybody, remember. It's just about someone who can be a bit of a trickster, someone who's not being completely honest. I think it's very important. There's obviously some changes going on in your life, and maybe you want some freedom, and so you might do something that's not quite, you might choose someone for that sake of love. So I think there's a lot of stuff to dive into there, but just wanted to do a real quick reading. I mean, I could dive into this a lot more once I sort of start studying the cards and start learning a little bit more about the cards, but I just want to do something very, very quick to sort of look about how these cards tie in together really, really well. So I think this is really well done, an excellent deck as well, exactly like Tarot of the Divine though, beautifully done. Message is beautiful, really sort of get you thinking. I don't think this is quite a beautiful message, but it certainly is something that is thought-provoking. I think they're very, very good keywords. They really sort of go, okay, stop for a minute, take a breath, let's look at the people that are around you. Not everybody is going to be kind and sweet. We do need to be a little bit cautious. There could be somebody who's not completely honest. They may offer you change or offer you freedom in some way, and you just need to be a little bit more careful with that, because it feels like there could be some greed going on there, which could be a sort of a reckoning for you, meaning that things might not go quite the way you expect in the situation. So just remember to come from a place of the heart, come from a place of integrity as well. Super important there. Allowing yourself to maybe be a little bit selfish as well in the situation. Maybe it's about you creating some boundaries. You know, not necessarily the person that's being selfish, but maybe you need to be a little bit as well. Looking out for yourself could be very, very important in this. Allowing you to look at the duty to not only to those around you, but the duty to yourself could be very important in this situation as well, because things could get a bit swirly. I feel like things could be a bit of an apocalypse, could feel like things are a bit of a doom and gloom, things are not going quite the way you want them to. So I think you do need to be very, very wary of those that you let into your circle. Okay, that's it from me. Take care, and